So I've been joined by Mr. Atta Mensah, CEO of Citi FM and Citi TV. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Do you want to try your juice before we continue?
Should I?
Yes, go for it. Go for it. We will do a toast to Citi and then drink on.
I mean, I want to drink from that.
Okay, let's drink from the glass. Let's go. But I have to do cheers first.
Anyway, cheers here.
Cheers. And you have to smile. It's not bad. Delicious.
I can smell cacadro inside. And what's it supposed to be doing?
It's supposed to clean out your system.
Really?
Yes. So we're going to eat a lot all day long. Mint, cucumbers. It's clean out your system before you eat all the food we're going to eat all day. So before you celebrate. Yeah, it cleans out your system. Cleans it out. Yes, but let's get back to Citi. It's cleaning your system. It's cleansing your system.
Okay, if you say so.
So tell us about Citi. How did it start and everything? Looking back at the journey, 2004 or the years leading up to it.
Okay, so it started, when Uncle Nick, Mr. Matthew, got a radio license and invited us to come and work together. And so that's where it started from.
Where were you before that?
2004, I was working with Coca-Cola West Africa. And I was actually in Sierra Leone and Liberia. So that's where I was. And my good friend Paul Admotre called me and said, we want to get back into radio. I mean, prior to that, I'd had invitations from other people, but it wasn't a thing that would come easily to me because I'd had some 5-6 earlier years of radio management. So I thought I wanted to do something else.
But do you think you were ready to run a radio station? Has it always been your dream?
I had run radio. Okay. I had run radio, from Joy FM to Adom FM to Love FM. I pioneered Love FM. I pioneered Adom FM. So I had prior experience. But I thought that was enough until Paul Admotre, and I keep mentioning because he was the one that prompted me into this. So that's how I started in 2004. It's been 14 years by the count, but
14 years.
From the beginning it didn't look like it was going to be, a progressive journey. So I don't know if your question is answered, but the people are watching me. Yeah.
Now, when you first entered the market, there were some radio stations already that had dominated the space. How did Citi differentiate itself? And then throughout the years with new entrants, how have you stayed true to that brand? Okay, so two things that I'll talk about. And every time I hear people wanting to go into the industry, especially radio, I ask myself again, do they really know what they want to do? Because it's a very tight industry. And in all my lectures and presentations that I've done, on the continent of Africa, I always liken radio management to football management because managing talents, each one of them has a way of expressing their talents, and you can only be the coach. And I ask, do people know that radio management is not a part-time business, and you can't do that and another thing? And so you notice that most of the successful radio stations in Ghana are owner-managed.
Yeah.
And that's what it means, that you can't just set it up and go and sit somewhere thinking that it's done, Because it requires a certain kind and degree of passion, which may come at the expense of other things in your life. Yeah. And so that's what it takes to do radio.
Mm-hmm. The second question was, how did Citi differentiate itself from everyone else in this space?
I mean, so I for a long time was teaching marketing in some of the universities around. So my approach to a lot of things would come from the marketing angle. And specifically, I was teaching services marketing, which falls directly into this. So I had my radio experience with multimedia, and I had my real marketing experience with Coca-Cola. So I would consider a mix of both, which is what I applied. Typical marketing operation is reaching the unreached, making sure that you convert people who are typically not radio listeners to become radio listeners.
How do you do that?
You create offerings that are attractive to specific target markets. When we came, we met 24 stations in Accra.
Wow.
And the refrain was that there are too many stations and we do not think that you can make any difference. But as for me, I had a desired future state, and I knew when that will manifest. I remember at one board meeting, one of the board members asked this question. And of course, the reference was always Joy FM, because typically most of us were Joy FM listeners. I said, but you, so how long do you think you can match up with Joy FM? And I said, 5 years. He said, but 5 years is too long. I said, well, that's the industry for you. And 5 years, I am being optimistic. It could be more than 5 years, And the sense of reality also helps because you may be deceiving yourself. And I knew that in 5 years, there were certain things I was going to do. I was going to go straight for the younger market. And the younger market is people who have just finished SHS. And that was the target. And that's the reason I went straight for university, those who had just exited university, to be the frontliners. And I had bashings from different people, including my very close friends. We thought you were going to do something magical. You go and take these small boys and girls.
Bernard and Jessica.
Well, at that time, nobody knew who Bernard was. So, but I was okay with that because the thing is, I hadn't gone to take a loan from any bank. And I wasn't going to poach anybody. And my life in radio, I've never poached anybody before. And I won't poach anybody. Because, you see, two things about poaching. For me, there's a morality question about poaching. Why should somebody be the one to build up a talent for you to go and steal? That's my first thing, because I don't think that's how it should work. But again, I can't dictate how the industry should run. And then secondly, I think that there are cultural conflicts when you have a habit of poaching people. Because every organization is built on culture. And culture, it's the character of the organization. And so at times, mixing characters from different organizations can give you a bigger problem. And so that's why poaching is not part of my strategy.
Okay, let's get back to Citi. 14 years in, we've had a lot of fun. We're looking at pictures of barbecues and everything else. We have a lot of fun here, a lot of smiles, a lot of young people who are overly excited and overjoyed. But in the early days, before the awards, before all the successes, what challenges did you face? Was there ever a time that you doubted the journey that you were on?
Well, I wouldn't say that there were times that I doubted, but there were difficult times. There were very difficult times. I mean, difficult times because, when you are new, some people will write you off, which is natural, and so people would typically write us off. And I could accommodate that. But there were also those who worked against us.
and worked against us by bad-mouthing us. And I'll say this is national television. And because Uncle Nick was particularly close to President Kufuor at the time, so word was, oh, there's an MPP station, and you know what that could mean. And because of that, some people were very uncomfortable associating with us. Yeah. So if it's going to be another political party station, then I don't. At that time, I was really, I didn't really have an opinion on political preferences. I just wanted to do my work. And but I just said, well, so what? I mean, somebody has to be MPP, somebody has to be NDC, but we have to do the work. And that was one. And we had certain advertising agencies that took a stand against us. I mean, Charterhouse was one of them, Multiple Concept was one of them, Originate was one of them, and I mentioned them for reference and for the documentation that they stood against us bitterly. And we did not confront, but we fought it. 14 years down the line, I don't know, the chips have fallen where they may, and we are still standing.
And who are some of the people who helped make this brand a success?
Oh, of course, Uncle Nick has been the silent motivator, whipping from behind and always trying to give directions from behind. For me, I mean, and Uncle Nick happens to my uncle as well. So, beyond Uncle Nick, I don't see anybody else that I'll say has. I mean, if you were working with some shareholder who was going to stand in your way, then you wouldn't have gotten here. Yeah. But he wants us to do well. He wants us to be the best in what we do. But now when we come in, we've had people who have been with us from day one till today. Of course, Bernard, Jimmy Quest, Richard Mensah, Kafui Kuonu, Jessica joined us the year after. You have drivers like Mr. Tega, there are quite a number of them still around, and there were the others who had to move on to go back to school, who, even when they moved on, have still been very supportive. Nia Patuplanj is now a company lawyer. We have Clement Akapam, who teaches law at Gimpa, Nana Tebia Ochre, and then, of course, Paul Adumoche was also very instrumental. And I say that because, you see, I was typically a programs person. Yeah. And my whole orientation to programming is actually because I did computer programming. I did computer science for my first degree. And I wrote algorithms with ease. Wow. And I realized that coming into programming, and you see, people don't get it, that it's a science. It's a science because you need to determine what age brackets fits into a certain kind of communication. And you don't just spill it out there. You need to structure it. And that's how we've done it. And I came with a typical programming and events background. And Paul had a lot of energy for news and current affairs. So although, yes, I brought Paul into the current affairs space from Joy FM, but by the time we got to Citi, he was up there to also contribute his quota. So Paul, I would always mention. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, now Citi has grown to be the big brand that it is right now.
It's still growing.
The top English-speaking station in the country.
Yeah, it's still growing.
And we have a bit of an international audience now. We don't just have FM, we have TV, which we are watching right now. So what's the next chapter? What can we expect from Citi?
Well, I think
14 years.
This is how I look at it. I look at it as creating an environment where people are able to express their talents to the best of their capabilities. Because the industry itself is very dynamic. And in the last 5 years, we've seen so many structural changes to the industry. Yeah. The channel itself has had its own battering because new media is taking over so fast. It's moving faster than our Ghanaian space would allow, because we still have cost of access to internet in Ghana, slow access to internet,
We have blind spots for internet access in certain parts of the country, But technology is not waiting for Ghana.
Yeah. Technology
is way ahead of us. But we are moving at the pace of our politics, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And so we try and create the space so that every talented person can express their talent to meet the demands of our audiences. And that's why. So just getting ourselves ready for new challenges in the industry.
What lessons have you learned from this 14-year journey that you can share with any entrepreneur, even if they are not in the media space? Just business lessons and life lessons as well.
Life lessons is that if you decide to embark on the journey, just know that you're on your own.
That's a bit, let's wrap it with a bit of optimism. The sandwich model.
No, I'm saying that if you decide to embark on the journey, just know that you're on your own. Because you see, you have people come around you when all is glittering. But in your most difficult times, you understand that it's a lonely place. And it's a lesson that will never move away from me. The other lesson is that you cannot replace hard work with any other thing. You can't replace hard work with any other thing. And I don't know whether there are shortcuts in this business. I do not know. I joined in 23 years ago. I still do not know whether there are shortcuts. You want to succeed, you're going to have sleepless nights. And if you are having sleepless nights in any pursuit in business, know that as part of the description. It's going to be like that. And so, top of my head, not much I can say, but these two will suffice, I think.
Thank you. Now I'm going to clear the juice now because we're celebrating. Okay, let's drink one more time. Let's do one more. So we got to do cheers.
Now I'm used to the thing.
Yeah. So we're going to do a happy birthday to Citi. You ready? Your juice is done. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Citi. Happy birthday to you. How about it, guys? Anyway, Jimmy, Jessica, just walk on set. Walk on. So we have wow.
What is that?
It's from a juice guy, so he gave us a
bottle. And that's cake?
Yes.
Yeah, this is all cake. This is all cake as well.
Oh, no.
Yes. So, do we have a knife to cut the cake? Okay, so I'll let you guys come in.
Do a good job.
HR and Jessica. OJ, get it. Everyone get it. Ladies. Let them go. Go in.
So it should be like this, right?
Yes.
So come closer.
Hey, you really like this juice. Okay, should we sing the song again? Birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, dear Citi. Happy birthday to us. Okay, let's cut the cake. Sammens, get in there. Okay. Happy birthday
to Citi. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to
speech. You gotta do a last speech.
No, there's
No, you
no
gotta do
speech.
speech. I'm putting it on speech.
I've been talking for the last 30
But not
minutes.
everybody's here.
We thank you all and God bless you. Spikey.
Okay.
Yeah. You've done something.
Kwame Obukujan. Kwame Jan is here. Kwame Jan is here.
Nice.
One of
He's up for
the
the-
old guys.
Aww.
Yeah.
Do you have
so-
any speech for us?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.